Welcome to another episode of the Ways to Wealth podcast. Today, I'm joined by Liam. Liam, why don't you give us the TLDR about what you're about and kind of what led you here?
Sure. Okay. I am the cinematographer and director, so I direct a lot of ads,
Yeah.
along with short films, and I also am into my health and fitness,
Cool.
which includes running, gym, a lot of like functional training, and like also my health, like in general, like food, what do I eat, and like vitamins and everything.
No.
Um, yeah,
Cool. So how to perform better.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, nice. How do you merge the two at all? Like, does any of the kind of content and videography and
Lively.
yeah,
Although I basically start my day off pretty early and go get all the training. So I feel good throughout the day.
mm,
And then from there, I'll start either writing or working on pitches to brands. And I kind of get a lot of my motivation from starting my day while
right.
doing that fitness.
That's cool. Yeah. It's actually quite cool. Like, I love the varied nature of who I get to talk to on the podcast because you can get, people that are business owners and retired financial advisors or like retired business owners that sold their business to like young people, young investors. We've had some great, we have the world champion who's on the New Zealand team for underwater hockey.
Cool.
Came on the podcast and he's got a really, he's like an investor plus engineer. So he's super interesting. And yeah, it's just cool how the podcast we get to like talk to like people with so many varied views, but always like similar in that discipline of like doing the work. Tends to be a pretty common thread for us. So are you like self-employed? Do you run your own videography business, or do you have like um kind of companies that you work for?
I subcontract. Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
freelance.
so
Basically, I kind of work with multiple agencies and production companies,
yeah,
um, and they hire me to do different roles. So like, it won't be just filming with a camera or whatever, which is called cinematography,
right.
um, or direct, which is another avenue again, or edit, or color grade, or fly drones, or
Yeah,
um, yeah. So there's a whole heap of different things that I do.
that's cool. And did you arrange? Did you study that?
Nah.
You self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught. Mostly YouTube, to be honest, but
Yeah.
also experience on big sets. So I just came off Minecraft the movie and basically was working directly with Jack Black and Jason Momoa. Um, just following them around doing VCS. Like,
That's so cool.
VCS is behind the scenes. Um, so it's basically like a paid masterclass in a way.
Totally. There's a role that's becoming more popular in startups and tech, which is the chief of staff role, where you basically shadow the CEO and the other execs and help them with basically a broad range of the biggest issues that the company has.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Good way to learn.
it's sure such a good way to really get an appreciation for what's going on because you get to be in meetings that you probably wouldn't be if you were just starting out at a company.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pretty fun role. And if I was to do it again, I'd probably kind of look for those sort of roles, especially if I had an ambition to do it later myself.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's one I probably shouldn't say anything, but I am waiting for another movie and I know by Sunday if I'll be on it. And that's working with the director this time, doing a doco with him. And I follow all this prep and everything through the like at least 20 days of the prep of the movie.
Yeah.
So I'd learned so much from that. And it yeah, well it helped me a lot because right now I'm writing my own feature. So any tool that I can use
Yeah.
from being there with them is pretty beneficial.
Interesting. Um, because that's interesting. Because it's not just what you learn the craft. You learn the craft, but you actually build the relationships with the humans, and that's really the edge, I think, as well.
Yeah.
I think we underestimate how much the relationships we have and those kind of almost like mentorship moments, but not just mentorship moments, really just that kind of empathy. Like if you can build empathy in a network where you have people that kind of are rooting for you, that's like the best.
Oh, it's
And,
amazing. Yeah.
and that's kind of like how we modeled our business around like how do you help people get access to a network of people they can trust that aren't necessarily in it for anything other than providing value. Um, and it's the same with building a network in an industry. You're having a relationship with people that are going to be able to get to decision makers or are decision makers and go, yeah, you know, Liam's the right guy for it.
I definitely find who you surround yourself is the most important. Like a lot of jobs, I'll self-produce and I only bring on people that I really trust, yeah, on the day. But also are good friends and we can chat and make jokes and things like that, you know?
Oh, it's not just like enjoyable.
Yeah, you're gonna make it fun. Like if it isn't fun, then you're not doing what you really want to do, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but yeah, you've got to have fun with it. Well, my past job when I was younger, I left school pretty young, at like 16. So I was a plumber to start off with. I'll tell you, I really did not like it. And I just thought ahead of time, and I was like, I don't really want to be doing this when I'm 50, 60, 70, like under houses, like dealing with all these such shitty situations. I was like, I started taking photos on my phone on the construction sites. I was like working on like under old houses and also like in drainage, like on big stormwater systems. So I was there real early in the morning and I'd just take photos on my phone. And that's kind of how I slowly started getting into photography.
How long did that phase take you to like kind of go from playing and exploring in the industry by yourself, basically by just doing, but to actually kind of starting to get interest commercially, I guess?
Well, after that phase of starting, uh, sorry, I shouldn't say leaving plumbing or gasping or drain laying. I didn't just leave it. I got fired.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I got fired because it just wasn't for me, which is a good turn of events,
right,
because it converted me to basically making me do what I really want to do, which is film.
right.
Um, and I'd say it probably took me around 3 years to figure out that I really like that kind of thing, which is, yeah.
And also like apply it
Yeah,
at time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I got my first job shooting something for Spades in the South Island.
Okay.
And I just had my little Canon camera and I was just filming out of a hot air balloon.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty crazy experience to start off with. So yeah, for that to be one of my first jobs, I was like, I'm so hooked on this. I mean, you're up in the air, high up in a hot air balloon, surrounded like by cool people. Um, yeah, they were actually jumping out of that hot air balloon, which was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was a great experience. I think that kind of converted my mind to like, this is really, really what I want to do. It's just so fun and out there.
Mm. Ah, that's cool. And how did you learn that?
That was through filming a wakeboard event for free because all my friends are wakeboarders. Well, a lot of them anyway.
Yeah, I just got into wakeboard with 2023. I like all wakeboard now, just fine. I live near um a I like a lot the one. Which isn't great.
Cable Park.
Yeah, co-op. Very basic one though, that's the problem.
Well, that's where I met the person. My friend Jesse James, who brought me on that job,
Oh, okay.
was at a cable park in Hawke's Bay.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he was like one of the promoters, the MCs, and he's like, yo, what are you up to next weekend? I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm keen.
Cool. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Because it's a creative but kind of almost stunt like kind of vibe and environment. Like a lot of people at our gym for jiu-jitsu, they're in film. They're like stunt.
Oh, stunties. Yeah, yeah. I love stunties. They're loose. They're crazy.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. And yeah, it is kind of that serendipitous moment where you're kind of doing something random, like applying like what you're passionate about, and then opportunities just typically present themselves.
Absolutely.
So I'm quite interested by the freelancer life and kind of journey, because it's actually quite lucrative on an hourly basis, and I think it provides a lot of the freedom that business owners gain. Um, However, there's no real known and well-established pathway that people follow, unlike a kind of a typical career, like career path line through employment. Like, I find that there's no structure. There's not, by nature.
No, not in terms of what job you're knowing you're going to get next.
Yeah,
That's the biggest not.
and how to plan and how to save effectively based on, it's quite a lumpy kind of career sometimes as well, right? Depends how you plan it and how you schedule it and how you meet it. But I know that it can be a little bit like that. But I think it's the future. I think that people are going to have probably multiple streams of income. It's not going to come from one company, most likely and typically. And that's probably the future of work and the future of actually kind of getting ahead. Will either be business and asset ownership, or, kind of like making yourself anti-fragile from an income perspective, which is what freelancers do. However, the kind of path for how does a freelancer build wealth, I don't think is well established, because career is very simple. It's like you kind of get put on the traditional path. I think freelancer, you get put on a slightly different path, or you're your own boss, but there should be more guidance around that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it's dependent on how organized the individual is, on how much they get out of it, right?
you do still have to structure your life in a way, I reckon. I think pre-planning and having backstops is definitely a key. Like, another thing that I'm into is also just saving in general.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saving for houses, and I'm gonna have that as a backdrop,
Yeah.
just in case I want to travel somewhere and go away for a while and just go right somewhere cool or interesting, like maybe Italy or Greece. I'm actually going to Greece soon. Oh yeah, it's nice to have extra cash in the bank just to go like relax and just be isolated and think about thoughts and come up with ideas and things like that.
Yeah.
Because being in chaos with the world's pretty noisy at the moment, it's just like, it's not like the best place to kind of zen out and think about more in-depth thoughts, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. I think that there's a lot of noise, and a lot of it is noise.
Yeah.
Um,
Big one's phones. Like, I'll put my phone away and I won't look at it for the first like 40 minutes.
yeah.
And that starts a struggle to start off with. But once you get into the habit, it's so healthy for you, because I've just started writing more and more each day on my feature film, and it just like hustles so much. Like, my fear's clear. I come up with new ideas. I just feel so good.
Yeah.
Because the phone's just such a bad habit, eh?
Yeah, I recently went and had like the first kind of long holiday that I've had in like better part 10 to 12 years.
Where'd you go?
We just went to, like, it was just traveling locally around. Like, and we were with family, and we went to a few different Airbnbs around the country. I didn't check my emails for like 13 days.
What was your favorite place?
Uh, probably Taupo, I guess.
Taupo. Oh yeah. Did you not go?
I've never been there before. Are you joking? Lights and that.
Oh, it's at Taupo. Yeah.
I'd never been on the lake, right? Like, I'd never been, and it was like, so we went kayaking on there, and it was just like you could see all the way through to the bottom.
Windy.
Not at the time. It was just before it got like, 'cause it was over Easter. But before we went, we took our kids out early, and we went with my in-laws as well. And we basically went a week early from everyone else, and we were there then. And then we went up to Coromandel, and we were like,
Randall's gorgeous. I really love Cara. We'll spend a lot of time there, many hikes, and I've filmed a lot there actually. Like, I love the landscape.
yeah. So just like body surfing,
Nice.
and bodyboarding with the kids, and just, yeah, like chilling out as well, like kind of just doing very little, and then slowly building myself back into it the last couple of days. I'm working on like a few things, like a shareholder update. I'm working on a memo. I write memos from time to time,
Yeah.
about macroeconomics and stuff, and where the world's going, and kind of my different thoughts about.
Writing about the tariffs.
Yeah, it does have some stuff about the tariff. It does.
There we are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's something that I've seen since 2021. I knew that kind of tariffs would be a part of the strategy for their issues in America. And yeah, I think that a lot of people get fed a lot of information from social media and such, and then unfortunately don't really know, like don't have the time or the headspace to really kind of critically examine situations that are going on around us, and can get kind of baited into basically just repeating things that they've done. And I think like in life, you've got to kind of, yeah, keep the noise out. But then when you want to have an opinion, I think it's always worth taking the time to kind of just get a bit of a deeper understanding about it.
Absolutely. Because I wouldn't even know really what tariffs are mostly about unless I actually looked it up on chat. Yeah, figure out what it is. Apparently, they've been around for hundreds of years, so it's really not an old thing. Yeah, not a new thing, I should say.
Yeah, there are lots of countries have tariffs, and it's like the strategy behind it, right? Like so, at the moment, most Western governments, especially, are spending more than they earn. So if you think about a government, a household, and a company should all operate in the same way. In an ideal world, you should be profitable, either as a household, a government, or just a general company, right? So you should run them similarly, and you should, even from a like balance sheet and like data perspective, through like tracking things, you should almost track it the same way. For example, you have assets, you have cameras, you have things that are worth something. That assets, they should be noted in your kind of personal wealth, right? If you own a collectible and it's worth X amount of dollars, if you've got a savings account, all of that is that they're all assets. And then obviously you have liabilities. And governments, as really for the last 12 years, haven't done a very good job. But also, like, I guess especially through COVID, it was like a paradigm shift, which now we're going to pay for many, many years. And when you basically get inflation, the government, when you have a deficit and inflation, the government needs to find ways to bring in more revenue so that it can pay for its debt. Right. So when you got a company with a lot of debt, your interest payments are higher. Therefore, your income goes obviously into that interest. So for example, if you own a lot of property and you have a large debt base, your rent from the property may not cover your total expenses, right? And you're in the game because you think that the increase in value is going to be greater than your cash flow loss. And then that's obviously dependent on, is there a buyer that's going to buy, is the market going to value assets higher every year? We don't know. But typically and historically, like for thousands of years, when there are these systemic issues, governments are more aggressive at trying to find ways to get revenue, and tariffs is a way to do that.
Makes a lot of sense. It's a pretty great logical, tactical idea, I guess, if you explain it like that.
Well, yeah, and even stuff like taxing people in other currencies and being very aggressive in our other currencies. So if you own gold or silver, that was traditionally a kind of like currency, and historically around when the governments and like these government institutions had these issues, or empires had these issues, they would be aggressive at taxing individuals that had those currencies, to the point even where they may even ban them.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So it's super interesting. It's so cool. And if you look into it, often there are similarities, and you can go, oh, this time in history, there's a book by Ray Dalio called Changing World Order, which talks about 2 or 3 Chinese dynasties, and then 2 or 3 other prior empires. So it talks about the British Empire, it talks about the Dutch Empire, may talk a little bit about Germany, but it also talks about the US. and then it talks about two or three Chinese dynasties and how they kind of operated and the issues they had and how they responded.
I just came back from China. Such a crazy world over there.
It's so cool.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I can't believe how beautiful it is. And like the food is insane. Their tech is also whack. Like their cars are so much better than ours. Or so much nicer looking and drastically cheaper. Like you can get a brand new Porsche. It's worth 350 over there for 60K.
Oh, really?
NZD. Yeah. Like it looks better than the Porsches we have here as well. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's cool. Hang on, let me just plug my laptop in.
No, you're all good.
Um,
You can live like a king there, eh?
yeah. Well, there's many places where, yeah, there's a lot.
Well, I'd say that was the cheapest. I mean, I've been to a lot. That maybe India. India's probably cheaper, but there it was basically your dollar's worth 4.5 times. Like I was saying in hotels, like five-star hotels the whole time.
Oh, really?
And they're like $50 a night.
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about Eastern culture in the West through social media, through like news and like.
Oh, there's so much like China, because China blocks everything. You have to have a VPN. You
Yeah,
have to have a VPN blocker on your phone to allow you to use Instagram or anything. And even then, it's still patchy.
no, what I'm also saying is like the people in the West kind of see, maybe like, oh, well, China's a communist country, and like they have their views around what that means. Whereas if you're there and you experience
That's an old thing. You don't see a lot because it's blocked from, we see everything.
yeah, true.
So we just judge them on little things that slip through social media, which is so sad because there's such kind people. The majority of them, I didn't find anyone that was negative over there.
And there's like no crime.
Yeah, no crime.
No crime.
Well, maybe, but I don't know what like.
I no low level crime. There's probably a lot of corruption in any country that you go to.
Some corruption.
Yeah, and crime. And there's massive corruption in Western countries.
There is, absolutely.
Each to their own. Yeah, and yeah, we all have our varied little bit pieces. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a misunderstanding around the kind of the cultural dynamics and like, for example, entrepreneurship and capitalism. Like capitalism is what like lives in China. Like people want to make money, and the government allows people to make money. Like they enable that, and they want tech to advance. They have great technology. They have great energy solutions. They have, they're delivering, like I said, like loads of value through hotels, etc., at a very low cost.
I also noticed like, obviously their food's insanely good too, but like their produce is all super fresh there. I don't really see anything. Like you think since it's such a polluted country there, everything would just look not so appetizing, but it looked pretty good to me from just walking around the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and quite clean, really healthy, clean and cheap, like not processed.
No, yeah.
Yes, big. I mean, honestly,
Unless you go into there should go to Canadian stores, so the convenience stores are not pretty. Everything's packaged.
yeah, yeah. I guess you can choose. We went to the Great Wall.
Oh wow! I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, that was cool. We were there only for like 12 hours or something, and we left the airport, went to the Great Wall. It was like $600, and we had a tour with a driver and a tour guide, and we went all up to the Great Wall.
Do you feel mythical when you're standing on the wall? It would feel like you're in a different age.
In a way, yeah, I got some really cool pictures.
The sin.
Yeah, I'll show you them after. It was cool. I've got a few pictures of like my kids. They're walking along it, right? Well, I bought a picture from quite far away of like at least my three kids, maybe my wife as well, like going along the wall. And I'm like further behind, and you can like see how it's.
Wow, they must have felt like they're in a castle or something.
Yeah,
How old are they?
at the time they were 5, 7, and 9.
Oh man, it would have been fun trips.
It was a cool trip. We went for a month. We went back to the UK because I'm originally from the UK.
Yeah.
Obviously, my kids and everything have been born here and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool. We went to the UK, France, to the UK, we went to China. Didn't leave that time. UK, France, UK, back to China, left the airport, went to the Great Wall, had some food, then came back to the airport and flew home.
It was such a cool trip. Do you miss the UK?
Not even a little bit.
What made you want to leave it out of curiosity?
Um, yeah, so
Love to get a local opinion.
yeah, so I came here for a year when I was 15, really enjoyed it, just short of a year, and went to Auckland Grammar and fell in love with the country. I really enjoyed the school system here. I thought it was really cool. It was very sports focused. I was in soccer, so it worked quite well for me. Um, and I came here when I was 18 to work for again, maybe 9 months, 12 months, and knew that I wanted to. I was kind of finding ways to get back to New Zealand. My dad had moved out here, and I didn't really have a relationship with my dad. And back home in England, for me personally and my family, it was very unstable. And I didn't do well in school. But I was a professional gamer, so that's what I focused on when I was young. So I traveled around Europe playing video games at the highest level.
I mean, I was addicted, but not that good.
Oh yeah, I was. Rather than say addicted, I was focused. But yeah, I was playing at the highest level.
What games?
A number of different games. Started with World of Warcraft, and
I used to love that. Me and my dad used to have. Oh, sorry, we didn't have the online version because we couldn't afford it. But we had my dad's a computer.
Oh, you should have Warcraft 3 or something.
Yeah, so we had system link computers, and we'd just play against each other.
Oh yeah, you've had Warcraft, right? Yeah, I love Warcraft. I got into Warcraft when I was young. Played it like Warcraft 2 and 3. But then World of Warcraft was the MMO.
Right.
So you would go and you try and it was very difficult. Like games have become very dopamine focused and very easy nowadays. But World of Warcraft was extremely hard. It took months to get to the highest level originally.
Was it like RuneScape kind of? It was a little equivalent structure, but
RuneScape was another one. Yeah, well, yeah, far more graphic.
Yeah, dancing, way better.
Less economic focused and like small, like, you know, because RuneScape, one of my friends is like one of the highest level RuneScape players, and he has like world best records on Guitar Hero. He's like insane. But yeah, anyway, I was into World of Warcraft, and what you do is you group together with 39 other people, and you're all on voice chat. And I was the raid leader.
Right.
So I was basically leading 39 other people at like 14, 15 to do these really quite hard things. But it totally gave me responsibility that I could never have at 14, right? And we had, there's an economy and we had like the guilds. So we would have to manage our finances and like the resources. We had all these raids. We had to schedule and manage who was coming and the composition of the team. So it was really in depth.
Did you find a lot of those things you learned on the game
have totally transitioned to
transitions? Yeah, totally. I understand. Because I used to play, this is another like example, I used to play a game called Fallout, and probably, yeah, I had seen it. There's actually a series out now, which I really wish came out when I was a kid. But anyway, just learning about your inventory and looking after your house and like, just, I don't know, like, yeah, your finances in the game and collecting things. Like I collect antiques at Hello, yeah. So like it's an old school collecting game, and that's what I like, just the wellness of it.
Well, it's very beautiful as well. It like
Beautiful, yeah.
So you would like that for the
Yeah,
and absolutely spent that time to make it.
absolutely.
I was really into like competitive games, like Gears of War was probably my top game.
I was good at that. I used to play it too.
Yeah.
Battlefield, I was 2000th in the world for a pretty long time at sniping.
Yeah.
But it goes down very fast because people today are over a lot.
Yeah, I mean, so I kind of traveled around doing that and then got into tech. Oh, I was a goldsmith by trade. Anyway, so really long story, but yeah, I felt very trapped in my environment in the UK. I felt like I was never going to do anything good. I guess I like almost because of how turbulent like I had through my kind of teens. I needed to change environment to unlock my mind and not have the kind of incumbent kind of psyche of like not being smart enough or not having the right opportunities, because it's very hierarchical in the UK. Like you need the right, if you're not like Kiwis do really well in the UK, they can't. English people love Kiwis and they do well and they do their own eat. It's very common. But if you're like working class in the UK, you didn't have the best schooling and stuff, like you're pretty stuck in like pretty horrible kind of pretty horrible existence in my opinion.
Interesting.
So I needed to just change my environment to kind of, yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are going through that phase right now. Like a lot of people going to Aussie, a lot of people going to the UK, just trying to find themselves. Like,
And being in an environment where they're not kind of encumbered by like, yeah, the past.
hmm, exactly. They've got a chance to start over again.
Yeah, reinvent themselves. Yeah, yeah, and I believe that if, and it's even like going away. Like I mentioned, that I went traveling. Right, when you travel, like your mind unlocks. I think that being in different spaces allows you to do that.
Oh, it's massive. But even further from traveling, obviously you travel in New Zealand, but going overseas and seeing how others live.
Yeah.
And going to places where there's not necessarily poverty, but like people aren't the wealthiest. Yeah. Like I've been on the border of Syria, where Globotepe, I don't know how to say it properly, but it was the first worship site of human civilization. It was like 9,000 years old. And I had like, it was just like 5 in the morning. I had like beggars like running up to me, like little kids, and like asking for money. And I was just like far out. Like they were everywhere. I felt so bad for them, but I was just like, there'd be other people, locals, shooing them away. Because obviously every person that goes through there, they go up to, but it's just like experiencing that was pretty intense. Because I've never had people run up to you. Like, sure, there's homeless here, but they kind of just dwindle. But there, they're like really desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see.
Well, have you kind of heard much about like rumination and like the links to depression and how like there's like psychology and like getting, for example, therapy, and then how therapy needs to be like structured correctly in order to avoid like excessive rumination and basically sticking in a cycle of kind of almost like the past, and how like in the West we are so absorbed by distractions through social media and even our own mental kind of story we tell ourselves, like our internal thoughts and our internal voice, right? And those people probably don't have a lot of this kind of either living in the past or living in the future problem that like really affects mental health.
Oh, they live day by day.
They live moment by moment. They're in the present, which obviously they're not living very good life. But I think that it's important to, yeah, travel so you can be like, I was thinking, I was like living in my head, like stressed about this future that is not here yet.
I honestly feel like we don't have room to complain in New Zealand.
Yeah.
We've got such a good life. Like other people have it so rough, and yeah, every day you should be pretty happy just to be alive and living in this situation, drinking clean water and having as much food as you want and a roof over your head, because other people don't have that.
Yeah, totally. So, and I think, humans haven't actually had a long period of time where everything was available on tap and like almost immediately. So I think we're dealing with that and like evolving to obviously handle that. And then, I guess, we're seeing that the problems that that kind of creates, right? And the kind of like the complexity behind it. Because it is, legitimate. You basically, there are unintended consequences that lead to, kind of these outcomes, like mental health issues that are kind of systemic, because actually we've introduced new things that we may have never encountered in that way before.
Yep.
Or, you got systemic issues in third world countries where there are like a high portion of people that are actually in abject poverty and don't have.
Yeah, basic. You just need something to reflect on.
So yeah, so you're writing your own feature. You're kind of really focused on your earnings because you want to save to buy an asset, which you're going to buy a house. And you're working on this feature, and I guess you're kind of in your head, your future, is building wealth and being really world class at what you do, by the sounds of it. So yeah, what does success look like in the next period? It could be 10 years, but I think 5 years would be interesting too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in no rush, I guess. Yeah, just taking it as I go, but also, like, trying to plan things out.
Yeah.
Um, Writing a feature is definitely one of them, and I love to tick that off the books. Um, I'm at the last, like, 20 odd pages, so I'm most of the way through.
Yeah.
After that, you've got to go through multiple rewrites and checks and send it to the audience, like common people who would watch it and tell them what they think to analyze it.
Yeah.
And then locking in actors and things like that and all sorts and marketing and everything. So it takes like another 2 years, literally,
Yeah.
just to get that all sorted.
It's like building a game or a business. Take time, or a product.
Exactly. But in the meanwhile, I work on other projects that I'm doing a few spec ads, and actual ads. Like we've got something for VW coming up that we're working on at the moment. Maybe another ad for Triumph.
Yeah.
And then yeah, maybe another movie that I might be on. I don't know yet. We'll see. Interviewing a director.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's us.
Or doing a doco on him more or less.
Yeah.
Um, but I wouldn't necessarily say that is a form of success. That's just a goal. Probably more than anything is just feeling good and being healthy and looking after myself.
So you're less focused on the outcome, more focused on like doing what you enjoy,
Yeah,
and like having that experience.
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily want to do something that I don't feel any form of passion for. I'd rather just focus on what I truly like doing. Uh,
Yeah. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna do a feature thing so that I can.
I don't want to gain. I honestly, if people didn't even know who I was, I wouldn't care. All I care about is making a good story out of it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to do with this stage because I've done short films in the past and they didn't necessarily have stories, but they at least had a form of testing phases, like kind of figuring out what I like doing, and directing was one of the things that I got into.
Yeah. Right.
'Cause mostly I'm on the camera, I film, so
Yeah.
it's called a cinematographer, and we just use cameras to
Yeah.
film stuff, and we light the world. But directors more or less look after the talent, the blocking, what they say, their emotive cues, symbolism, and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, here's a different question then that I think would be really interesting, and it's probably gonna be difficult for them, but
Go for it.
what do you want the last 10 years of your life to look like then? If you're less concerned about like goals right now, I think it'd be really interesting. Like, you know, how do you want the last 10 years to look like? Not like it's a real hard one.
So the next 10 years,
Yeah, I know. The last 10 years of your life.
then
Fast forward to it's all done.
oh,
I know living out the last 10.
that's a great question.
What do you think?
I would probably, it's an emotional one. Probably living on a lake with like by the mountains,
Yeah.
and like a cabin and be there with my wife
I
and kids and just hanging out, living in nature. That's all.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's like the final 10 years. Yeah.
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 Well, yeah.
Just reading books, enjoying the sunshine, going for walks and hikes. That's all.
Nice. And having some people.
Yeah. Having my family around, like when my parents come, they could even live there if the house is big enough. Just have the little community in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. I think about that a lot. I often I can't really live rurally, yeah, because I'm needed, like more centrally, but yeah.
I was saying as most of us were all young and dumb and we've just got to take advantage of being a city.
Yeah.
If we weren't in a city, we wouldn't meet
Yeah.
people that would lead us to doing what we really want to do.
Yeah.
Um,
So then just to wrap, what, for someone that wants to kind of maybe have a more life curated to how they want to experience it, what they want to do, or how they want them very focused on spending good time doing what they want to do rather than being like, okay, I must go on this path. Yeah, rather than being on a specific path, yeah. Rather than being on kind of like, oh, maybe that's outcome focused and someone that's like, oh, like I'm really passionate about creating something, content, or like, I'm creating a story and seeing that story be like kind of enjoyed. How does someone do what you've done and create a income stream and a structure where you can learn from the best and also then start to experiment and create.
I honestly think just have fun with it. Don't take it so seriously. Go meet people. Go to, from my perspective, go to like film premieres and things like that. Make your own ads. Like originally, I didn't have any videos to show anyone or prove anything, so I created spec ads, which formulated um, my own portfolio and then generated jobs from there, etc. Um, but yeah, I think just getting out there, like don't stay at home or hold out, go meet people, and that's the biggest thing I've learned.
Yeah.
Those always snowball into different things of jobs. Yeah,
Do you use the letterbox?
no, a lot of my friends do use it. Yeah.
My friend built that.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's
Oh wow.
a co-founder.
Yeah, a lot of my friends do use it. I don't use it so much. I've just got a massive list on my phone of all the different movies, and I'll slowly tick them off and watch them.
Yeah, cool. No, he's a shareholder in our business.
Wow, well, that's very cool. Yeah, it's set up well, that app. I have seen it.
Yeah,
I should probably get onto it.
he loves movies. So yeah, maybe there's a connection I can make.
Absolutely, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
With the letterbox man.
yeah, that's right. And they have a really great content team. So when you're actually kind of as you progress your feature, maybe we could.
Absolutely. So I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, mate.
Sweet. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on the pod. I appreciate it. I know that we've had some technical difficulties because I'm an amateur at this.
That's so good. We were just looking at your sweatshirt for the last
Yeah,
hour.
it's a good one. It's my favorite one.
Brilliant. You're just missing your. Oh, you've got your coffee mug.
That's
We
right.
need to put you in the mountains.
Yeah, let me stay there. Awesome, dude. Cheers.
Cool.